She's a remarkable character to watch on the big screen, and you can really see her struggle to shoulder the burden of being the new Black Panther and leader of the people of Wakanda. All of that being said, the movie was trash, and here's why. Honestly, it looks like the MCU has decided to create for themselves a reputation of making really terrible superhero movies. And I think they are ready to go to great lengths to become twice as horrible as DC Comics. Now, when the trailer came out, I really wanted people to see Black Panther. And I still do. I think it's a good movie compared to other movies released by the MCU this year. I mean, it is no multiverse of madness, but it is nowhere near a She-Hulk debacle. Listen, based on the major releases this year, maybe you should just scrap going to the movies entirely for your weekend plans this year. Just scrap it off completely. But if you still want to go, I think Wakanda Forever is a fairly good option. And of course, I'm saying this because I'm biased, okay? I'm a huge fan of Letitia Wright for no apparent reason. I'm just like that. You know, my favorite Game of Thrones character wasn't Jon Snow or Daenerys Targaryen. It was Arya Stark. So you know the kind of person you are dealing with. Also, I'm a huge fan of Burna Boy. I don't like all his songs, but his good ones are really good. And when his voice came up as a soundtrack in one of those scenes in Black Panther, I mean, I was just bopping my head. It felt good, right? And lastly, at least Shuri had emotions and weaknesses. She wasn't an emotionless, strong female character like Captain Marvel. You can see her struggle to accept the loss of her loved one, especially her brother T'Challa. She's a remarkable character to watch on the big screen, and you can really see her struggle to shoulder the burden of being the new Black Panther and leader of the people of Wakanda. All of that being said, the movie was trash, and here's why. First, it was just another exploitation of African culture, and as you watch it, I don't want you to lose sight of that. I really don't want you to lose sight of that. Black Panther reduces Africa to just costumes, symbols, dances, dresses, wall painting, and accents, which sometimes sound really incredibly ridiculous. Like Lupita Nyong'o, nobody pronounced recovery as recovery in Africa. I am very sure. Recovery? Jesus Christ. I know it sounds African, but please. You see, beyond the drums and the paintings on the wall and the white burial dresses and the royal fashion, that's just a combination of like 219 tribes that sometimes is hard to track. Beyond all of that, beyond the excess African motif, this movie lacks the substance of what makes up an African culture. It seems to be a foreign imagination of what African tradition look like. When I watched it, I saw a bastardized copy of Africa, a Western version of what it means to be African. Our norms and traditions were replaced with woke agenda that desperately wanted a strong female character. Therefore, M'Baku had to be reduced to a funny, unserious gorilla who eats carrots on his way to a crucial royal meeting. And all the intelligent, strong female characters just happened to be women, right? I mean, these women were just incredibly smart. Even for a fantasy, they were just too smart for me to suspend my disbelief. I mean, a black female 19-year-old college student developed a fighting suit that took Tony Stark forever to invent. Besides, Africa doesn't operate as a matriarchy. We don't. You mean to tell me that in a deeply traditional African society like Wakanda, that has so much respect for African symbols, that even the aircraft were designed accordingly, you mean to tell me that in such a society, the patriarchy doesn't exist and men we are just listening to women whose authorities go unquestioned in Africa? Haba now, take it easy. Secondly, how come no other part in Africa was seen beyond Wakanda? Wakanda only does business with the US and other Western countries. Even when Nakia wanted to do her humanitarian work, she had to go to Haiti. Why Haiti? I mean, many African communities will really need her assistance, but she climbed 7 mountains and sailed 7 seas to help children in Haiti. I mean, isn't charity supposed to begin at home? So in the MCU, I guess Gambia, Kenya, Namibia, Congo, Senegal, Mozambique, South Africa, or even the largest black nation on the planet, Nigeria, is just insignificant. It's not good to include in the storyline. All that matters is just fictitious Wakanda, America, and the Native America. Then you just have to add a lot of African aesthetics to it. That is the African representation. African aesthetics. Just include so much of it in the movie, and then you have fully represented Africa, right? And thirdly, in the age of CGI and advanced movie technology, how come you couldn't give us T'Challa? You couldn't give us a scene that has T'Challa in it, actual scene for this movie, not clips from the first movie. Nothing. Not even when Shuri was roaming in the land of the dead. Nothing. T'Challa just dies of a mysterious illness, and that's it. The end of Chadwick Boseman. The end. I mean, Fast and Furious 7 was able to make it happen, and the MCU just didn't have enough budget for it, right? Or maybe the writers and directors were just so focused on making Shuri and Okoye look like goddesses that they forgot the main reason people love Black Panther in the first place. See, T'Challa not appearing in this movie left a huge void that all the super strong, super wise female characters couldn't fill. And it's such a shame, and it is really such a shame to see this happen when a simple CGI could have fixed it. And lastly, can you guys just drop the favorite colonizer nonsense and all the insinuation that white man equals evil? I mean, this is supposed to be a movie about Africa. Why do you have to infuse your stupid American identity politics nonsense into it? Why? So Kuku Khan wants to destroy the surface world because he caught a glimpse of slavery. And again, this surface world doesn't seem to include Africa. It is just the West, right? Isn't that interesting? I mean, doesn't the geographical location known as Africa exist in this movie? So much cultural depiction, but no geography of the people who own the culture. I mean, this is supposed to be make-believe, yet I'm left in doubt. And that is why I think this movie is not about Africa. It is a movie by Americans for Americans with Africa as a prop. Yes, I get it. It is a fantasy. But still, come on. Black Americans speak of cultural appropriation. Well, this is a clear example of cultural appropriation. You people did not there was no show of respect for our culture. Yes, there was depiction of our culture, but there was no real respect and appreciation for our culture, and a desire to really portray it in its full color, so to speak, beyond just aesthetics. What about our practices? What about our norms? What about our traditions? And you guys just showed us how much you really don't care about it. You really don't care about African tradition, about the African way of life. You are just using us to create whatever narrative will make black woke leftists, black Americans feel good about themselves. I guess that's what this is all about. See, if you want to tell an African story, then go ahead and tell an African story. Otherwise, just keep us out of it. And some Africans may be thrilled about this movie because it's not every day you see a black superhero with an African accent in a place that looks like prehistoric Africa. I get the appeal, but I'm not stupid. And I know what this is. You are pandering to blacks in the West by creating a superhero from the motherland. That is what you are doing. And since these blacks are so ignorant about African cultures, norms, and traditions, you just give them anything. Give them anything with African fashion and symbols, even when it is misused or unnecessary. Just give it to them as long as it features a black woman being super strong. Too good to be true. Just do it, right? And put so much effort, and don't put so much any effort. In fact, what effort did you guys even put to really represent Africa? Nobody cares about that, right? Africa is just clothes. We are just dance and beating of drums and singing whatever song you people think is what we sing. Some of it is actually what we sing, but that's beside the point. And as always, black people will be stunned by anything you put in front of them that just screams black, black, black. And any white person who has an issue with it is racist or sexist, right? But if you really want to pander, how about this? I have a good idea, MCU. How about a friendly neighborhood superhero from the Bronx, Compton, or Southside Chicago? Because Americans, right now, you guys are not ready for an actual African story. You are not, because there are so many out there and you are not paying attention to those ones. So don't insult us in Africa. We are not as stupid and ignorant about Africa as those in the West. We live this. This is our life. And we deserve better than this. These people are just misusing our culture, and that is unacceptable. And as I said earlier, I'm a huge fan of Letitia Wright. I am. And that is why I went out and gave my hard-earned money to see this whitewashed representation of African culture. And if you ask me to rate this film, I'll give it a generous 5 out of 10. I mean, I've seen worse, right? In comparison to She-Hulk and Love and Thunder and Captain Marvel. I mean, Black Panther is terrific in comparison. But in comparison to the Multiverse of Madness and what an actual African superhero movie should look like, then Black Panther 2 is sadly an epic failure. So congratulations, Marvel. You did it once again. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching that. And if you enjoyed it, then hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to this channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of my subsequent videos. Also, if you have seen the Black Panther movie, let me know what you think about it in the comments. And until the next video, peace.